Tonight's topic is, why does missions matter? Why does missions matter? There's many ways to answer that question, but I think we need to kind of rewind. We got to take a step back from that question, something even more basic, and that is, why do I have to go to church? Have you ever asked, be honest, have you ever asked that question? Why do I have to go to church? Maybe that's every Sunday with your parents. Why do I have to go to church? I don't know. It was actually a friend of mine, my son's friend in college asked that question, why do I need to go to church? They go to a Christian school, Christian college. How would you answer that? Why do I have to go to church? I might just say, you don't have to. I'd say you don't. Okay, before you tell your mom what I said, we should kind of qualify that a little bit. Because first of all, the church isn't a building. It isn't just a building. And it's not just an event on Sunday morning, right? Or is that your idea of what church is? Because if our understanding or our definition of church is underdeveloped, then our understanding of mission will be very underdeveloped as well. Because if the church is only just having people come to a meeting on Sunday morning, then missions is just getting more people from all around the world into a meeting. But if that's all there is, to be honest, I think I can think of many other things I'd rather do on a Sunday morning. So I think we have to go deeper. And Jen and I are part of an organization called Pioneers. It's a church planning is our focus. And so that's the connection between church and mission. We really believe that the church is God's instrument to reach the dark places of this world. So we'll circle back to those two questions. Why do I have to go to church? And why does missions matter? I am not going to answer those questions for you. You will answer those questions as we go along. So I will ask you, why do I need to go to church? All right? So, there's one way that we can think of the church, and that's with 4 words, is more than just the meeting on Sunday, but people. Can you guys say people? With a purpose. Can you say purpose? On a path toward a destiny. Someone told me when I created put these 4 words together, said, why didn't you make the last one a P word also? But I think it actually highlights the final, the best part for last, destiny. And so we'll get into that. I'm going to show you a series of videos on the church that I put together on behalf of our organization. And they asked me to create a orientation for new missionaries on the topic of church planning. And so I was thinking, I really don't want to create like a PowerPoint. That's kind of boring. I want to make a TV show. As I mentioned, I'm a creative person. So what I did was I created the orientation in the format of a TV show. And so that's what we'll see tonight. But the faithful people that were able to come here in person are the ones that get to see it. Maybe because of the sensitive nature of some of the testimonies, we're not going to broadcast that, unfortunately. So you're going to have to ask somebody that was here, if you're watching online, what happened in this room? All right? And so, let's go on to the next slide. And that's a quick picture of our family. It's all 8 of us for now, but actually our family grew. We became grandparents just a few months ago. So, next slide. Okay, so here is the 4 words, and let's go ahead to the next slide. Okay, so I'm going to explain a little bit first here. Do you guys remember, okay, here's a question for you. We are talking about purpose. Do you know any angry, bitter, or broken people that feel like too far gone, like hopeless, humanly speaking? Do you know, or like maybe it's somebody who lives on your street. Maybe there's something, um, church is not just listening to someone like teach you for an hour, but part of it is that first piece, people. People. Do you guys remember what happened in the Garden of Eden? Yeah? Who are the two people? Yeah, Adam and Eve, right? Okay. And, there's something amazing is that in Eden, basically, as I created this, I was doing my research on the history of the church. Do you know where the word church comes from? Where does the word church come from? It comes from, the first time it's used in the Bible is in Matthew 16. Jesus refers to the word ecclesia in Greek, which is church, which at that time was just a general term for people gathering together in public, a group of people coming together, just like this, right? Are we a group of people gathered together here in the South Bay? And then this same word, the Hebrew equivalent, kahal, in Exodus chapter 35, was used to refer to the people of Israel. So did you know it's kind of like a pre-church? The church we always talk about the first century church, in the book of Acts, after Jesus died and rose from the dead, and then the church began. But if you kind of rewind back even further into the Old Testament, you see the beginnings of God gathering a people. And then if you go even further back to Eden, you have the holy community of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And they're inviting Adam and Eve into relationship with God. Is that amazing? That's incredible. So it's kind of like a pre-church. They weren't just sitting in pews falling asleep on a Sunday. They were God's people that God created, given the huge task of taking care of creation. So that's, and then when you look at the Bible, we begin to see also that what kind of person is God? Because the Bible is a journey of God revealing himself to us. What kind of God is God? Is he good? He actually, I love this, he sees us and he knows us and he loves us. Have you ever felt unseen or unknown? Like nobody cares. Nobody knows what I'm going through. Have you ever felt that? Alone? But God is a God who sees and he knows and he loves. I'll just pick one example. Do you guys know the woman Hagar? Okay. What ethnicity is she? Or nationality is she? Where is she from? Egypt. Yeah, okay. She's not Jewish. Egyptian. She was unloved. She was unloved. The role that she had to play was to be the mistress for Abraham, to have a baby. She basically she existed in that moment to produce a child for her master. How unseen is that? How unseen is that? And yet God spoke to her in the desert and encouraged her. Psalm 139, God created us in our inmost being. In Jeremiah 31:3, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Those are words that he spoke to Israel. But as you'll see in the story, God loves. You don't just have to be from Israel for God to love you. He loves us, the Gentiles, also. So that's kind of a little going back in history to the early part of the church. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay. I wanted to make this a little bit interactive, so if you would like to participate, you can check your learning with this Google form that I made. There are 8 questions and 3 questions for this first section. So we're going to watch 4 sections of a video, and the first one will be on people. So after we watch it, then I'll give you a minute and you can see if you can answer the first 3 questions, okay? Now, I'll just tell you right now, it's pretty easy. But the point is just to kind of help reinforce some of the learning tonight, because it's a Friday night, right? And I know you guys are firing on all cylinders after a busy day, a busy week at school and work. So let's go ahead and play that first video. All right, we are on to the second, one more slide, purpose. Yeah, to set that context again. So the church is a people, right? What kind of people were in that first video? What kind of people? Normal people. That was actually, our friend was in Central Asia. So do you even know, anybody know where Central Asia is? No. Anybody been to Central Asia? No? Okay. Yeah, all right, yeah. Normal people, the milk lady, the lady that sells milk. Other people, what other people were in that video? Yeah? What's that? Never mind? Okay. Anybody else? Prisoners. Yes, okay. So they were inmates in the prison. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and so they're just normal people, people that have made mistakes, just like in the song that we sang, right? Come. God isn't expecting us to be perfect when we come to him. That's the whole point, right? So God invited Adam and Eve, man and woman, into this relationship with God, but then because of their rebellion and sin, it broke up, it destroyed that. That early picture of holy community was destroyed. But don't worry, because God already, in the very beginning in Eden, he already set his plan to reconcile people back to himself, already set in motion, right? That's something that would be carried out and not completely understood or revealed until Jesus came, right? And so, that's, the Bible talks about it as a mystery, something that was previously hidden, but now has been revealed through Jesus. This is the mystery, is that Gentiles and Jews who believe the good news of Jesus share in the promise and are part of the same body. This is God's mercy to us who didn't deserve it. And in Ephesians chapter 3, it says that God's wisdom is displayed through the church. It was God's brilliant idea. How do you get people that are rebellious? How can we come back into a close, holy community again? Do you know how to solve that problem? Think of the most difficult math problem you ever came across. It would be a zillion times harder than that. God found a way that, in his infinite wisdom, a way of bringing us to him through Jesus. And so that is the amazing work of God. It's like, in essence, it's like, hey, look at what God has done in his wisdom in gathering lost and broken people and showing them mercy. Let that echo throughout the universe and eternity. Those changed lives. The men in the prison that did the Bible study and now have come to Jesus and they ask, can you baptize me? The ripple effects of those changed lives is going out into eternity. And again, we have that question from the beginning. why do I need to go to church? Why do I need to go to church? I think the further we go along, those original questions will seem stranger and stranger. I don't know if you'll get that sense. All right, so let's go ahead and watch the next video. And there are 2 questions, I think, for this one. You know, there's a lot we don't understand about the universe, the principalities and powers out there. But can you imagine the effect of God's mercy on lives like people like Selena? It's almost like God saying, you thought it was over for these people, but in fact, I want to do something new in their life, and I want to revive them, and I want to change them. And it just shows God's power and his wisdom. It's just incredible. Have you guys finished your questions? Yep, good job. All right, I saw a thumbs up back there. Nice. So the church, people. What's next? With a purpose. On a path, okay. So we know that it's people, everyday people, normal people, just like us in this room, right? And then our purpose is to show and exhibit the wisdom of God and his mercy in the way that he saved us and saved others, like the stories that we've heard. And now we're on a path. What is path? In Hebrews 6:1, it says, let us go on and become mature in understanding. Have you ever wished you could undo something bad that you did? Yeah? See, I saw a hand back there. Have you ever tried to change yourself to be a better person, but then found it difficult or even impossible? I keep trying to be good, but I can't do it on my own. There's a path of growth that God has for us. We're not just staying still. We're not just come to Bread of Life every Sunday for years and just stay the same. That's not the calling on our life. That's not the way the church was designed to function. We are to be growing and changing and growing in Christ-likeness. Did you know that the first century church, that means 2,000 years ago, was a total mess, actually? There was sexual immorality. Wait, do we have sexual immorality in the American church today? Yeah, it's there too, right? Believers were taking each other to court. Does that happen sometimes? Sadly. People were doubting the resurrection. Believers doubting. Sure, all the time, right? That was the first century. A lot of things haven't changed. So today, we too are broken people with desperate needs who have received God's mercy and are living testimonies of his grace. Romans 8 says we are co-heirs with Christ if we share in his sufferings and glory. And Ephesians 4:13, that we will be mature in the Lord, measuring up to the full and complete standard of Christ. All right. So let's go ahead and watch the third segment. Have you ever come across anything in your life that is worth getting up early for? What are some things that you like to do that requires getting up early? Yeah? Okay, great. All right. What a great student. Anybody else? I like, yeah, go ahead. Taking a walk in the morning. Nice, nice. Yeah? Playing the piano? Wow, you guys are so like studious and wow, amazing. Oh, your parents would be so proud of you. I like waking up early so I could go skiing. You know, you got to get up really early and drive like hours and hours. But have you come across anything in your life that's worth working hard for? Maybe it's school. Maybe it's piano. Have you ever come across anything in your life that is worth living for? How about worth dying for? It's not really something we think about a lot in the South Bay. I grew up here. I kind of know every day sometimes feels the same. Do you ever get that feeling? I did. Even the weather's like the same every day. It's like beautiful. But growing up, I didn't really appreciate that until I moved far away to another country where it was always dark and polluted all the time. We are a people with a purpose on a path moving toward an eternal destiny. This is not a dead end. We're actually moving somewhere super exciting. In Hebrews, the author contrasts the first encounter with God. Do you remember the first encounter with God on Mount Sinai? If you guys remember from Sunday school, maybe. It's like darkness and gloom and like thunder and like scary mountain, like, and don't touch it, because if you even try to go up, you're going to die, right? But that's the amazing passage, Hebrews 12. You need to mark it and go home and read it, for especially verses 18 to 24. We don't have time to read it right now, but it contrasts that with, you haven't come to that mountain, but you've come to this other place where there are thousands upon thousands of angels in joyful assembly. And it's the church. You come to this place, not of like judgment, but you've come to this place of God's mercy and life. I love this part. It says that it's to the church, the firstborn, whose names are written in heaven. That's you and me, our names. Have you ever been to a wedding before where they have assigned seating? Have you ever seen when they messed up and somebody came, a guest came, but their name wasn't on the thing and they didn't know where to sit? It's really awkward. You feel embarrassed. Don't let that happen to you in heaven. If you know Jesus, if you know that Jesus loves you, if you put your faith in Jesus, your name's written. You can confidently go at the end of your journey in this life, and you will find your place in your name written in heaven. Again, think of that question. Why do I have to go to church? This is starting to sound like a strange question. Okay. Yeah. God himself will be with them. Yeah, Revelation 21 says, look, God's home is now among his people. He will live with them, and they will be his people. God himself will be with them. He will wipe away every tear from their eye, and there will be no more death or sorrow or crying or pain. All these things are gone forever. That is a future worth dying for. Let's watch the last segment. Just want to ask you a simple question. Why do I need to go to church? Please, in pairs, choose somebody next to you and ask each other that question. Why do I need to go to church? And the second question, why does missions matter? Find somebody. If you're just alone, then join 3 people. All right, let's come back together. We are out of time for this evening, but does anybody have, kind of a burning answer to that question? Why do I need to go to church? What would you say?